7:36 it is. A pleasure to welcome Dr. Jason West to the live line. The good doctor is an integrative medical physician. Walk me through, doctor. What does that mean exactly? You're not practicing, you do other things?
No, actually I do practice. It's just we use the best of both worlds. We integrate traditional medicine and alternative medicine into that patient sweet spot where we don't care who gets the credit as long as the patient gets better.
That's a beautiful thing. So when you look at this coronavirus thing, I mean, here in Ohio, we've got an awful lot of flu issue. And I think if you're practical, you would realize the flu is a much bigger deal to us than the coronavirus is. But there's so much coverage of the coronavirus, you feel like that's the bigger story.
You know, you're absolutely right. The flu virus kills somewhere between 20 and 50,000 people a year. And basically, we know it's coming every year in the wintertime, and then when it warms up, the sun comes out, the flu kind of goes away, and then the coronavirus rolls out, and we're looking at, I think, is it 2 deaths in the United States that we've had so far from immunocompromised people? And so really the answer, whether it's coronavirus or it's the traditional virus or the traditional flu virus, you just got to get as healthy as possible.
For sure. So you mentioned something there, and my wife and I were just talking about this over the weekend. The flu is definitely a winter event for us here in Ohio. It starts to come on. Usually it peaks once right before the new year. It settles down, then influenza B comes through, and then it settles down again. Is the coronavirus going to be the same thing once, as you say, the sun comes out? Will that kind of dry up naturally?
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, you look at the statistics, and I was on the CDC website yesterday and getting ready for the interview today, and you're looking at, you know, it doesn't have the characteristics of a pandemic where it's going to sweep across the country and shut down schools and the way that we travel and everything. And the answer is it doesn't seem like it has those hallmarks. But, man, there's a lot of political and news coverage that makes you think we're sitting on the next bubonic plague.
Well, I mean, you look at it on one level, like we know the flu kills about 0.1% of people who become infected, but so far the coronavirus is more around 2%, so it is deadlier. But what we hear from our government and what you know, because, you know, unless you travel to China or to Italy or the Korean Peninsula these days, it's very unlikely that you're even going to get exposed to it, so those numbers really are meaningless.
It is true. It does seem to be more lethal, and yet at the same time, it's lethal in the people that are susceptible. You know, it's older, 75-plus-year-old males, slightly above females that have some type of underlying condition. And so all of the patients, I mean, I must have got asked this 50 times in the office last week. Dr. West, what are you going to do for the coronavirus? And my response was good food, good sleep, good air, lots of vitamin D, vitamin C. Because if your immune system's healthy and you become exposed to it, I mean, think of all the millions of people that have been exposed and didn't get sick.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I wish in the media that people were paying attention to is there's been a lot of exposures, and yes, it's new, it's novel, it's something to report on, but there's a lot of people that aren't getting sick.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, 70-plus thousand people in China, and the death toll there, I think, is somewhere between 2,800 and 3,200 people. It's sad. It's a tragedy. But the vast majority of people exposed to it do not succumb.
It's true. And so now is the time to bolster up your immune system and really go back to the stuff that Grandma and Grandpa were telling you to do, which is, you know, get your rest, get your chicken noodle soup, your vitamin C, your vitamin D3, you know, echinacea, garlic, all these things that stimulate your immune system.
Yeah.
Now is the time to be taking it. And you know what the downside of doing that is? Nothing. You might not get the normal flu if you do that.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. One more before I let you roll, because I got to get to traffic and weather here. But the Surgeon General put out a missive that said, don't bother buying masks, wearing masks. We need those for, you know, medical professionals that are dealing with real healthcare issues. What's your read on that? Should I get a mask or not?
Well, I don't think you should get a mask. As a matter of fact, the report says that you may be a higher risk because you're going to be touching your face and moving it around, and actually the virus particles are smaller than the pores in the mask. So it makes people feel good, but, you know, it really doesn't really help.
Got it. Great stuff. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Dr. Jason West on Newsradio 610 WTVN.